Eric and Caleb had been inseparable since childhood. From sneaking mangoes off trees to whispering secrets under the stars, their bond had been tested through the years and remained solid. Now in their 30s, they were both married, employed, and building families. Every weekend, they found time to sit together, share cold drinks, laugh about old times, and talk about everything: work, women, and the weight of life. Eric married Nika, a kind, vibrant woman with whom he shared an unusual understanding. From the beginning of their marriage, they agreed that household chores were not the sole responsibility of the woman. They didn't believe in assigning roles by gender. If one of them was free, they handled the dishes, the laundry, or the broom without a second thought. Caleb, on the other hand, married Amaka, beautiful and patient. She loved him deeply and tried to meet his needs without complaint. But unlike Eric, Caleb held tightly to his belief that a man didn't belong in the kitchen or with a mop in hand. His mother had never let his father do such things, and to him, helping with chores felt like an insult to manhood. One Saturday afternoon, Caleb visited Eric's home unexpectedly. He met his friend wearing an apron and stirring soup while the washing machine hummed. Caleb burst into laughter. "Eric again! You don't turn woman rapper, oh!" he teased. Eric simply smiled. "If wrapping myself around her happiness makes me a woman rapper, I don't mind." Caleb shook his head, chuckling, but deep inside he couldn't understand it. He saw marriage as duty divided by nature. The man provided, the woman maintained the home. Still, their friendship continued. As the years went by, both men moved up in their careers. Their wives supported them, encouraged them, and soon, both Nneka and Amaka were expecting babies. Eric became even more devoted, reducing his outings and helping Nneka with every little thing. He massaged her feet, cooked her meals, and made sure she never lifted anything too heavy. Amaka, though equally pregnant, continued managing everything alone. She fetched water, cleaned the house, cooked every meal, and washed Caleb's clothes, all without help. He was rarely around during the day and didn't think much about her swollen feet or slow steps. When she complained of backaches, he dismissed it with a nod and changed the subject. At a family event one Sunday, the difference between the couples became glaring. Nneka walked in with a glow on her face, her hand resting on Eric's. Amaka, however, looked pale and tired, her smile forced. Eric noticed and pulled Caleb aside. "You need to ease her burden, bro," Eric said gently. "She's fine. She's strong," Caleb replied. "Amaka is not like all these weak women. And besides, it's not a man's job." Eric didn't argue. He just shook his head lightly and left it at that. Days turned into weeks. One evening, Amaka collapsed in the kitchen. Caleb rushed her to the hospital, terrified, but she regained consciousness quickly. The doctor advised rest, hydration, and no heavy lifting. But again, Caleb thought it was an exaggeration. Then it happened. One hot afternoon, while Caleb was at work, Amaka attempted to carry a full gallon of water into the house. Her foot slipped. She fell hard onto the concrete floor. Neighbors heard her scream and rushed out. She was unconscious, her belly trembling. They rushed her to the hospital. This time, it was serious. Caleb was called immediately. When he arrived and saw her lying pale and still, his heart broke. The doctor, with stern eyes, said, "She's lucky. You almost lost her. And your child. She needs care, rest, and most of all, support." Caleb sat by her bedside, ashamed, afraid, and shaken. Memories flooded his mind. Her doing everything alone, him laughing at Eric, him walking past her when she looked tired. He looked at her face, bruised and helpless, and something shifted in him. Eric came to the hospital. He sat quietly beside his friend and said, "It's never too late to carry your load." That night, Caleb wept beside Amaka. He held her hand and whispered apologies. When she opened her eyes, she didn't speak, but he could see the pain she carried, more emotional than physical. From that day, he changed. He began helping at home, not out of pity or guilt, but out of love. He learned how to cook her favorite meals. He fetched water, cleaned, and even washed her hair. Amaka watched him with cautious surprise, then quiet joy. Her body began to heal, but more importantly, so did her heart. Their bond grew stronger. When she eventually gave birth, he was in the delivery room, holding her hand, crying louder than the baby. One evening, months later, the two friends met again. Eric was playing with his newborn son on the porch. Caleb joined him, bouncing his daughter in his arms. "You know," Caleb began, "you were right all along. It's not about being a woman rapper. It's about being a man who wraps himself around the people he loves." Eric smiled. "You didn't need me to tell you. Life always teaches. Some lessons are just louder than others." They both laughed. And from that day on, they raised their children side by side, teaching them the values they had learned the hard way. Love is shown in service, strength is found in humility, and real friendship is never afraid to tell the truth. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more interesting stories.